So, for example, Spyro Reignited Trilogy got delayed, and people spam me about that shit too, being like, "Yo, what do you think about your game getting delayed? You know, you can't fucking play the game and I don't know, fucking cock." Any cocks in the chat? Smile? Question mark? Smile? You know, I'll say the same thing as I've said for Spyro and many other fucking games. That has been delayed, and like games that I'm looking forward to. Who gives a shit? Like, really, at the end of the day, who gives a shit? Isn't it like, if you really think about it, okay, let's really mathematically, let's talk about this. You watched the Logan fight? Oh god, I'm gonna talk about that after. It wasn't even one of the topics that I wanted to talk about, but now that you bring it up, now I have to talk about it. Oh my god, why did you have to bring? Oh, you know, it's fine. I'll talk about it after, okay? So I'll say the thing that, like I said, that I've said every time, like, there's a game that I'm looking forward to and it's getting delayed. Who gives a shit? Like, really, who gives a shit? If you really think about it, we live in the age of 2021. There's a lot of developers out there that chooses to not delay a game, and they just release it as it is. And there's been a lot of times where we have seen games just not being what is supposed to be on release, if you get what I'm saying, right? So, like, I mean, Cyberpunk got delayed, but it still turned out fucking trash. I don't care what anybody says. Agony, right? Does anyone remember that game, Agony? The horror game where you're like in hell and this, that, and the other. And I was really looking forward to that game. Damn, I was looking forward to Agony. Agony, like, when I saw the first trailers of Agony, I was like, whoa, this is gonna be good. Even my old reaction, my life is Agony. Damn, bro. Well, you gotta take it after this. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop. I'm sorry to hear that, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Big tits, demons, yes. Now here's, okay, let me talk about Agony real quick. Trust me, it's gonna make sense. So when Agony got delayed, I was like, guys, who gives a shit? Like, it's such a, like, if you really think about it, long term, how many games gets released the past 4 years? Okay, let's just, yeah, for sure, let's do that. The past 4 years, how many horror games did actually get released? How many horror games were in the making? How many horror games did we actually acquired the past 4 years? Not that many, right? And I'm not talking about, we're not talking about indie games, okay? We're not talking about like some random ass fucking dude that made a game and it's free and you can download it on fucking Game Joes or some shit like that. We're not talking about those. We're talking about AAA, whatever type of games, right? Last one that I think the last kind of like legit horror game that got released, AAA type of like game release, was like Outlast 2. Little Nightmares 2, I guess that could be discussed. Little Nightmares 2 is not it does have like creepy moments, but it's not really, you know, right? My point is, if you're gonna delay a horror game, you have to make sure the shit is good on release. You have to make sure that shit is good. And the reason why I'm talking about horror games as an example is because fighting games is pretty much the same way. You don't really get, like, fighting game companies, they don't release a fighting game every second year or every, I mean, unless you're NetherRealm or some shit like that. I guess you do, but besides that, I mean, Tekken 7 came out in 2015, 2014, if you think about like Japan only release and like, you know, Asia only release arcades and all that stuff. And we are in 2021. Okay? So if you think about like console release and PC release of Tekken, I think that was in 2015, 16. So that's about like 5 years ish ago that Tekken 7 got released. and it doesn't seem that Bandai Namco is working on a Tekken 8 or whatever the case may be, right? That doesn't seem to be the case. So fighting games has such a big gap when it comes to like their releases. So having a fighting game company like SNK delaying their KOF 15, if you really look back at the history of KOF 14, it makes absolutely sense for them to delay it. They want their fighting game to be as good as possible, especially how KOF 14 turned out. Yeah, I don't mind any fucking delay for KOF 15. By all means, delay it for 3 years. I don't fucking care. Delay it for 3 years, okay? As long as you make it the fucking best as possible, go right ahead. I said that for Crash Bandicoot. I said that for Spyro. I said that for any fucking game that I care about. By all means, fucking delay that shit. If you found a bug, if you found something where you need more time to make the game better, fucking do it. Do it, by all means. And I hate people that's gonna be like, "Well, I'm not getting the game on release. I pre-ordered the game and I have to wait fucking 6 months or some." Dude, it's like 6 months. What can you possibly like? What could possibly be so important for you that you can't wait 6 months? Okay, we all delay. Chris, shut up. We all know. You're probably gonna play Fortnite, okay? Just like I'm gonna do, alright? Fortnite got a new fucking update, and we gotta play Fortnite, alright? Shut up! Speaking of Fortnite, there you go, right? You know, you're just gonna play it like... for me, chat, I guess what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to horror games and fighting games, especially those two genres, I think it's so important for the developers to always have their shit on point and come correct. It's so important, especially for fighting games, right? Horror games is like, you can throw in like a couple of like cheap ass jump scares or some shit like that and you're pretty much good, you know, just like Fear 3, right? I mean, Fear 3 wasn't really that horror, but it still has some like cheap ass jump scares where it's like, oh shit, that shit got me, right? Oh damn, Alma came out of fucking nowhere and tried to fucking ride my dick. Adult Alma, okay, mature Alma, just throw on the record. I don't know, man. Like, I don't give a fuck if fucking SNK gets delayed. Like, I feel like there's like more important things to talk about than a fighting game getting delayed. Isn't like I said, isn't that a good thing at the end of the day? Unless they delay the game and then on release it still turned out like shit. Then it's like, well, what the fuck did you guys do like the past 8 months? The extra fucking 8 months that you guys had time for. What the fuck did you guys do? Then it's like, okay, you know, then we can talk about fucking refunding and whatever, right? So there's that. That's what I have to say about like game developers delaying games and stuff. And I think, yeah, like I said, I think I even said that like if they delayed like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite could have turned into like one of the greatest fighting games ever made, but they were rushing the shit. They were cleared on a budget, and Capcom kept saying, "Oh, we're gonna fix all these problems. We're gonna do this, that, and the other." But you know, at that time, you know, E3 was around the corner, and at E3, the whole world is gonna watch it. The whole world is gonna know about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and they just fucked up. They just fucked up. They could have delayed the game. They could have said, "Hey, man, we really care about Marvel vs. Capcom. Marvel vs. Capcom has a great history when it comes to the FGC history and like Halls of Legends and franchises and all that stuff." But I don't know, like you could like for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, you could just tell that the developers did not care about the characters. There was no love put into the character. No pun intended. But Morrigan, I'm just saying she can get all the fucking love. I'm fucking stuffing her with my cum. Wait, did I say that out loud? Yeah. So, but I don't know, chat. Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know? Isn't it important for us to have like a game that we like? For me at least, isn't it more important for us to have a game, and then after we play the game, we think, man, that shit was tight. I want to go for one more round. Uno mas, you know? That's how I felt when it came to Resident Evil Village. Speaking of Resident, you know, there you go. I still have it as my desktop background right there. Resident Evil Village, you know? That game, how many times haven't I played that game over and over and over again? And there are people being like, bro, this guy, he's like milking the fuck out of RE Village. Dude, like when I was done with RE Village, I went directly to Five Nights at Freddy's 2. What are you talking about? I still need to do like the mercenary stuff because I'm trying to get fucking 100% of the game, right? If a game is fun and enjoyable, and the consumer wants to play the game again, I feel like that's an achievement for a game developer. I feel like the game that truly tells the game developer has done a good job. They have done a good job. So I don't know. Does that make sense?